Hello everybody, I'm Michaela Kathleen, and in this video I am doing an itty-bitty, teeny-tiny little tattoo tour. And I say itty-bitty, teeny-tiny because I only have 3 tattoos so far, and 2 of them are quite small. But I really enjoy tattoo tours, so I wanted to do one anyways. So to beef up the video just a little bit, although I'm sure I'm gonna ramble on for a very long time about each tattoo, but to beef it up a little bit and keep it slightly book related, I'm also gonna recommend a book for each of my tattoos. And also kind of inadvertently a song for some of them, because 2 of my tattoos, one is a song title and one is a song lyric. And my next tattoo is actually also partially gonna be a song lyric, but I'm gonna talk about that one at the end. But jumping right in, my first tattoo is my family tattoo, which I got last year, June 2023. But I had been thinking about this tattoo for over a decade. I started thinking about it when my brother got a family tattoo on his arm, right along here, which is the location of my next tattoo. So partly because I was thinking about this one so long, it did go through a lot of designs. There are many reasons why it took so long for me to get it. I'm a very cautious person, very not good with pain, and was scared of getting my first tattoo, but really wanted one. And then also just major introvert, and I find that a lot of tattoo artists are not super, I don't know, nice about first timers getting tattoos. I consulted with a few different artists over the years, and every time I just did not feel comfortable at all. And as a introverted person and also very cautious about tattooing, I just needed to be comfortable. So yeah. But anyways, to talk about the actual tattoo and the design, I will finally get around to showing it. Oh my god, the sunlight. So this is the tattoo in question, my family tattoo. And the original design, so my brother's family tattoo, which I will show here, and my dad's, which is the exact same. As you can see, it has this kind of strange symbol in the place of the A. This is like a family crest, I guess. So for a long time, I wanted my A to be the Deathly Hallows symbol from Harry Potter. But it did always make the tattoo look a little awkward. It just didn't blend as well as the symbol my brother has for the A. And it always kind of drew your eye to the Miley part of family. But for the longest time, I was just like, I don't care. I know what it is. I know that it's the Deathly Hallows symbol and that it says family. I'm just gonna leave a picture up for the rest of the explanation because I'm gonna ramble. And then also other variations I kind of took in and out the 3 little dots, which that is an ellipses. That's my favorite punctuation. So that kind of went in and out of the design. At various points, I would put like an arrow underneath the family. For a lot of years, the F was gonna make a giant heart around the entire word. And then in like the final few weeks before I went and got the tattoo, I did not have an appointment. This was a walk-in, strangely enough, considering how meticulous I've mentioned that I've been about the process. But in the final weeks before that, I had this idea of like, what if I just put a book above the word and let go of this idea of having a symbol replace the A. At this point in my life, I still love Harry Potter very much, but I just love reading at this point. I just love books. It's been that way for a long time. Harry Potter is still my favorite, but it's not so all-consuming as it was for me 10 years ago. And so I thought, what if I just get a book instead? So that is how I landed on having the book above and not having a symbol for the A at all. And kind of 2 funny things. So the stars have also always been a part of the design. The stars represent Neverland. This is the 2nd star to the right and straight on till morning, Neverland. The star above the eye is, you know, the left star. So that's always been a part of the design, and when I had the idea for just putting the book above it, I thought it would be cute to have Neverland be in the corner of the page of the book, because Peter Pan, obviously originally a play, but it is a book too, and so I thought that would be cute. And the funny thing is, one of the other tattoo artists in the shop that day came over and like snuck a peek at my tattoo, and it was towards the end, the star and the book were already there, and he goes, "Oh, Harry Potter book, right?" Because Harry Potter books have the little 3 stars in the corner of the page with the page number on every page. So it ended up still having a little bit of a Harry Potter reference that I didn't even necessarily think about until he said that. But now it's just way more subtle, and the family doesn't look weird by being interrupted by the Deathly Hallows symbol. And then also the second kind of funny thing that ended up still working out in a way was I had gotten rid of the whole having the F form a heart around the word, because that just would have been way too much going on. But after I had already had the tattoo for a couple of days, I looked down on it at my arm at one point. I'm always looking at it upside down most of the time, obviously. And I realized that if you look at the F upside down, it forms a little heart. So the heart is still there. And that moment for me was just like, oh, I'm really gonna love this tattoo forever, because there's just always gonna be more little details about it. Like the 3rd dot and the ellipses is just slightly misshapen compared to the other 2 dots, which some people would maybe be mad about as being like a flaw in the tattoo, but I don't know, I think it just gives it more character. I like that I can look at it and there's so many little details to see. Oh, another thing that you may be wondering is my brother's is spelled with an IE on the end because we have a lot of German heritage and family with IE is the German spelling, but I was never as into that as my brother was. He took German in high school. I did not. I took French. I just wasn't super interested in the like family heritage aspect of it, I guess. So I just spelled mine the American English spelling. So yeah, I've talked about the book, I've talked about the stars, the ellipses. As I mentioned, that is my favorite punctuation. When I think about ellipses, I think about like to be continued. I think about the in-cart quote. Stories never really end. They don't end on the last page any more than they begin on the first, which I think also just connects to the idea of family well, even though I just said I'm not interested in our German heritage or anything. And yeah, I've always liked ellipses. It kind of also represents my reading, writing, editing background. So yeah, that's all kind of the references and meanings in this first tattoo. Now, my mom, my dad, me and my brother all have family tattoos. My dad and my brother's, there's matches, and then me and my mom's mostly matches. She's not as into books as I am. She does like to read, but just not on the level that I do. But her favorite aesthetic is like 50s, mid-century modern. So she decided to take the idea of my stars, make them those like 50 style stars that you see on like the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel title screen and just like on signs a lot in the 50s. And she got, I'll show the picture, she got 3 above the family. Red is for my dad and my nephew who were born in January. Purple is for me and my mom, we were born in February, and the blue is for my brother who's born in September. And then down below, she has the green for my sister-in-law who's born in August, and the kind of lighter blue that's supposed to represent diamond for my husband who was born in April. And of course, she has it in the same location that I do. And she got hers June of this year, 2024, which is when I got my 2nd and 3rd tattoos. But before I move on to those, I still have to do a book recommendation for my first tattoo. And for my family tattoo, I am recommending 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This book very much has the found family trope, which my family tattoo does not represent a found family, it represents my actual family, but found family is my favorite book trope, and 6 of Crows does it so well. And I also wanted to pick a series to kind of go with the ... to be continued. So, you know, at the end of this book, to be continued, because there's another one. But moving on to those 2nd and 3rd tattoos. My 2nd tattoo is the title of my father-daughter dance from my wedding. My dad also has this tattooed on him. And so the reason that I got 2 tattoos at one time for this 2nd appointment is because this is such a small tattoo that I figured I could get another little bonus and probably still fall within shop minimum. So basically I was just trying to get more ink for my buck. But this is the tattoo on my dad's arm. The song is What You Give by Tesla. This has always been our favorite song, and so this was our father-daughter dance. But I will show it on my foot now. This one does not have as much story behind it. There's less to it, there are less different elements. It is literally just the father-daughter dance from my wedding. I did debate potentially getting some flowers on my foot as well, but I was very nervous about this tattoo, again because of the pain. My first tattoo, I was so surprised. It hardly hurt at all. On a pain scale of 1 to 10, I'd put it at like 3. But I knew the foot was a much more painful spot, so I was worried about this one. So I wanted to start with just the song title. I figured that would go so quick, I could get through it even if it was super painful, and then I could decide on the flowers. And yeah, it was very painful. Don't think I'm gonna get flowers on my foot. The second tattoo I got on like that day, the outside of my ankle, which I figured wouldn't be very painful, and it was about as painful as the foot. But I do now still maybe want to get the flowers, but just on the ankle because it was slightly less painful. I don't know. That's down the road a ways. If I do that, the flowers are going to be modeled on the lace trim from my veil, my wedding veil, because then it, you know, just connects more to the wedding since this was my father-daughter dance. This is an example of what I would kind of be going for, but turned on its side and traveling up my ankle, with this leaf being very close to the W in What You Give. But yeah, definitely recommend going and listening to the song. It's a very good song. It sounds like a romantic love song, which it's not. It's also not like a proper She Was My Cinderella First type of father-daughter dance song. The actual original like inspiration for the song, for the singer who wrote the song, was his dog dying, which is kind of sad. But I think if you listen to the lyrics, it does make a good father-daughter dance song. And also, it was just our favorite song our whole lives. So I've had it picked out since I was like 10. But the book that I'm recommending for my What You Give tattoo is Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. And I picked this one because it just has the cutest father-daughter relationship in any of my books. And even though this is not a bookish tattoo in any way, this is a very bookish book. So in that way, it can kind of also go with the first tattoo. And then finally, my third tattoo, my kind of add-on for the What You Give tattoo, which I did not get shop minimum for. He did add on a little bit extra just because it was technically still a whole separate tattoo. And also I don't remember the price for any of my tattoos. I got them all at Headless Hands in Kansas City. My artist is St. John at Headless Hands. He's fantastic. I don't want to like bash on tattoo artists, but he's so much nicer than any other tattoo artist I ever consulted with. He's willing to like actually work with you on your design and not just be like, no, you can't do that, and then not give any like middle of the road suggestion. Like the last artist I went to before him for this tattoo, I had been still debating the wrist, but I knew ultimately that my little spaghetti wrist was too small of a spot. And this spot had recently started to kind of get to be a more popular spot for tattoos. And so I had the idea of putting it here, and I said that to this artist, and he was like, no, you can't put it there, that would look dumb. You have to fill up an entire section of the body at one time. So he wanted to like turn it on its side and fill up my entire forearm. I do not want a tattoo that big. And yeah, just not very collaborative in my opinion. But my artist, very collaborative. Hopefully, I want to get every single tattoo I ever get from him. But yeah, also don't remember the price of any of them. Foot tattoo, I'm kind of going all over the place here, I apologize. Foot tattoo obviously was like a 9 on the pain scale. But bouncing back to the ankle tattoo, the kind of unplanned, because again, I had been planning on the foot tattoo for, I mean, at least since I got married, so for at least 2 years before I got it. This ankle tattoo was so far the first tattoo where I had been thinking about it for definitely a lot less than a year, but also at least a couple of months before I actually got it. And so, like I said, I first thought of it because I knew the What You Give tattoo was going to be so small, I figured I could add on. And he did not charge me like 2 full shop minimum prices, he did give me like a discount on the second one. So it did still kind of work out to plan. So for this one, going into it, I was thinking I would have to come up with something really small to go with the small tattoo to do this whole shop minimum plan that I had. And when I started thinking about it, I was like, I want like a little feminist tattoo. So far, all of my tattoos and planned future tattoos are mostly kind of like, at least in part, for other people. Obviously they're my tattoos and I want them and they're for me, but you know, my family tattoo is a little bit for my family, and my What You Give tattoo is a little bit for my dad. And so I wanted a tattoo that would like really be for me, and feminism is just something I'm very into, and so I wanted to get a little feminist tattoo. But I didn't want it to just be like a little woman's symbol, or, you know, something that like a lot of people have. And obviously I love quotes, so I decided I wanted to get like a little feminist quote. So I scanned through my little quote book to look at all my different feminist quotes that I have in there, to look for something good and short, because it still needed to be short. And I ended up thinking about this Billie Eilish song called My Future, and I picked out a lyric from that song. And I went with, you can see it, Aren't I Someone? Which just felt like there would be a nice symmetry, because I'm gonna have the What You Give tattoo, a 3-word song tattoo for my dad, the Aren't I Someone tattoo, a 3-word song tattoo for me, and then next year I'm planning to get Just Slow Down, which is a lyric from my mother-daughter dance at my wedding. I did a mother-daughter dance at my wedding, and so that'll be a little 3-word song tattoo for my mom. And I just like the symmetry of that. 3-word song tattoos. But this Aren't I Someone is actually my own handwriting. Again, just very much making this tattoo mine. Another cool thing about this tattoo is my artist did just take a picture of like the mock-up drawing that I had done, and basically just drew over it and just made sure all the lines were clean and straight. And so this also was like very heavily designed by me. I picked out the font and everything. Obviously my artist did the actual work of the tattooing and adjusted things to make sure that they were, you know, spaced just right. I don't want to take total credit for the design on this one, but it is just another cool like feeling of like, oh, I had a pretty big hand in designing this. But the Aren't I Someone tattoo, this is, like I said, from Billie Eilish's My Future. The like full lyric is, she says, I'm in love with my future, can't wait to meet her, and I'm not in love with anybody else, just want to get to know myself. I know supposedly I'm lonely now, know I'm supposed to be unhappy without someone, but aren't I someone? Now obviously I'm not single, I'm married, so that element of the lyric doesn't like necessarily apply to me currently, although there have been big swaths of my life where I've been single and like living alone. And as an introvert, like pretty much my husband was the first person that I like actually dated. But for me, I do have a lot like more other meaning to it, because to me, you can look at that as like, aren't I someone in any way that you're not necessarily fulfilling society's like blueprint for life? Like whether you're single or you're in a relationship, whether you have kids or don't have kids, like you're still someone. You're not illegitimate just because you're not following these specific steps. And then also it just kind of refers to how women specifically, although this could apply to other identities, but I'm a woman, so specifically for me, like it's kind of like a statement of just because society might undervalue us in a lot of circumstances, we are still someone. So yeah, that's my little feminist tattoo. And my recommendation for this tattoo is Loveless by Alice Oseman, a book with an asexual main character who is kind of coming to terms with that identity and also struggling with feelings of feeling like she doesn't fit in her society and like she's not meeting the standards if she never has a romantic partner. So those were all of my current tattoos, my song recommendations, my book recommendations. My next tattoo that I'm planning to get, hopefully next June. I'm kind of liking this trend of getting a tattoo every June with my same tattoo artist. And that one is going to be my actual matching tattoo with my mom. I will have a family one, matching with my dad, and then matching with my mom. And that one is going to be the lyric "Just Slow Down" from "You're Gonna Miss This" by Trace Adkins, which was our mother-daughter dance at my wedding. And again, we're not gonna do like an exact match, I don't think. My plan for my tattoo is to get a tiger lily flower, which was my wedding flower, and the stem of the flower will say "Just Slow Down." My mom, I think, is going to fill the space between her family tattoo up here, and then she has a little dragonfly on her wrist, so I think she's gonna fill the space with flowers. I actually drew up a potential design for her. So it would be up and down like this, with the "Just Slow Down" next to some flowers that are tied together and a little honeybee. The honeybee is because we recently found out that her name, Melissa, means honeybee. And then the flowers, once again, kind of like her stars, represent the family. The lilacs are for me and her. The carnations up top are for my dad and nephew. The morning glories are for my brother. And then down on bottom, the daisy is for my husband. And the poppy is for my sister-in-law. So I don't know if this will for sure be what she gets, but it's an idea that we have. So yeah, that was it for all my tattoos for my planned next tattoo. After that, I might get the veil flowers on my ankle. It would be very painful, but maybe we'll see. And then after that, I might get one more tattoo that's just for me, not a feminist tattoo this time. I think more of a fun tattoo. I'm toying with the idea of getting the outline of my previous cat, Hairy Baby, on the back of my arm in like flowers, like in this style. But this picture, this was actually our cupcake toppers at our wedding, so it would kind of be another wedding thing, but really it'd be about getting Hairy Baby. So that's an idea. Or I thought I might want to get like just a fun, silly, dumb tattoo, and I might get a macaroni and cheese cartoon noodle like down on my ankles somewhere. But anyways, after the matching tattoo with my mom, maybe the veil flowers to go with my "What You Give," and then one more just fun tattoo for myself, then I think I will be done with tattoos. I don't want too many. I do have a lot more ideas than that. I have maybe like 11 or so ideas at this point, but tattoos are expensive, are painful. I honestly don't want too many. And then also, like, my husband does not like tattoos. He hates tattoos. So while I'm not willing to not get any tattoos because I love them, I do at least want to, you know, kind of reel myself in a little bit. But anyways, yeah, that's my tattoos. I love them. Oh, I didn't do the pain level on the "Aren't I Someone" tattoo. If the foot was a 9, the "Aren't I Someone" was probably a 7 or maybe even an 8. Actually, I'm gonna say the foot was an 8 or a 9 and the ankle was a 7. I don't know. They were pretty painful, but they each took like 5 minutes. This one took like 20 minutes, but was not painful almost at all. Still so surprised about that. Oh, another tattoo I was thinking about getting, I could just talk forever about them, was an outline of the Rose Theater in Omaha on my ribs. Ribs is another painful spot, so I don't know. But I love that building. It's beautiful. I took classes there from the ages of 12 to 18. It's my favorite place. So that was a potential idea. And then also my favorite book quote here, but again, very painful spot, was another like top contender idea for my last like fun tattoo. And that was, "Words are our most inexhaustible source of magic" from Harry Potter. Okay, I'm done rambling about tattoos. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, words matter. I literally can't stop. I also saw on Pinterest recently that stamp tattoos are getting popular, and I would so love to get just a line of these on like the back of my arm. One for each place that I've lived. / the final one is Neverland and is the year of my wedding.